Just woke up, the results aren't definitive, but it seems that unless they find the ancient tomb of Amun-Ra that is filled with ballots that want to express the will of the dead, then chances are that Trump has won. So let's see what some of my favorite content creators are doing.
Damn, poor Melania. Now she has to fucking act like she loves this man for 4 more years.
They're not doing very well. I would definitely recommend a wellness check on XQC because the gentleman has betted $700,000 on Kamala.
Guys are looking more lively.
Yeah. Come on, Lickman.
Drinking fucking caffeine over there. He's got the Red Bull. He's like, all right, we can do this.
Alan.
Didn't need it.
Oh my God.
Didn't need it.
I agree. Didn't need it.
What are those psychological tests called? The ones that show you different pictures of human faces and you gotta associate the emotion with the face. You gotta say joy, sadness, happiness. If I was given this test and I got to see Mr. XQC, my favorite VTuber on Twitch, I would say concern. This is the face of great concern. To be fair, though, he is a multi-millionaire, so probably $700,000 isn't that much. But still, the reaction is interesting. Just as I saw the reaction on the Young Turks, which is in the thumbnail of this video, there is a juxtaposition between Cenk Uygur and Anna Kasparian. You get to see the different ranges of emotions between humans. I wonder how Anna is going to walk around the office, because, like, you gotta keep the smugness in check. As I said yesterday on my stream, regardless of what happens, half of Americans are going to be big-ass mad. Very big-ass mad. And the other are going to be very smug. I just hope that my side isn't going to be as mad, and I was hoping that I'm going to bed a little smug, and I wake up smuglier, which is pretty much what's happening right now. Now, speaking of the October surprise, or in this case, the November disaster, it does seem that that squirrel managed to flip one seat. As my friend Freedom Alternative has called it, another betting man, except that this is a case where the bet has paid off. It's very difficult to humiliate a man and not piss off the general public, which is pretty much what happened in New York. Leftists just don't seem to get it. It's not about the squirrel. It's about the fact that if it did happen to this man, it could happen to anyone. There was no need to send so many government agencies in order to treat the man like a terrorist and raid his house for 5 hours. Even if he broke a law that most people disagree with it, let's assume that that was the case. You could have just given him a citation. You could have just treated him like a decent person. And it's also the culture behind it. You have a Karen that is upset that she doesn't have more Instagram followers than the squirrel. So she uses the weaponized bureaucracy against the man. So a lot of people are like, but maybe if the bureaucracy was weaker, then unhinged individuals can be unhinged without harming others. So this is how this story has ended. And going back to why Trump won, I would like to thank the people that worked hard on BioWare. Not just them, but the marketing team and the journalists as well. Your smugness has probably managed to shift the needle a couple more votes. I don't know how many, but I guarantee to you there have been people that were dismayed by the absolute state of the AAA industry, about how their criticism is received, about how they're treated online. And at the end of the day, the bread is more expensive and the circus is shit. Isn't that the case? They generally don't understand. It's like, oh, chads, go touch grass. Go touch grass. Oh, you don't like your video game? They did. They touched grass and they probably voted. I unironically think that the decline in entertainment has gotten a lot of young people that would have just stayed indoors and played their fucking video games like they always did to actually go out and vote. There's a lot of liberals that do not understand this. Like, you can mock what I'm saying. You can make fun of it as much as you want. But if you just left the entertainment alone, you would have had fewer people showing at the polls. It's difficult to vote and play Dragon Age at the same time, you know? But like right now, this is the situation on the left. No one is actually blaming Kamala. She was absolutely perfect. She did everything right. The Democrat Party also didn't have any mistakes. They were absolutely perfect, but they were betrayed. They were betrayed, or people were just stupid. People were dumb. My favorite take is Russia. No, I'm sorry, Putin. Putin himself, that is incapable of influencing the elections in Moldavia, which is one of the poorest countries in Europe. He can't influence the elections there. But yet again, he is the puppeteer behind the United States, right? Like behind every US atrocity in the Middle East, you should blame Russia because they are the ones puppeteering and organizing the politicians and the elections. If only Israel would have had that power that Putin has. Can you imagine? The world would have been a much better place. But here you have, like this one. As a British person, how are Americans struggling between picking a well-educated woman? I mean, look, if you go to the university, if you're mentally deficient, but you go to a university, you become smart. It's how the world works. There is something about the brick and mortar in the university as an institution that turns people into geniuses. Especially me, which I have gone to 2 universities. Like, I know that every single person at the university was pretty much like Einstein. Like, no one was stupid, no one was corrupt. Like, when you go to university, it's kind of like in Lord of the Rings interacting with the elves. Everyone is just like so above the rest of humanity. And on top of it all is the university professors that are the most educated from us all. Like, no, seriously, have you ever met a university professor in your real life? Like, my God, they're savants. Every single one of them. They are monumentally intelligent. Like, you think ChatGPT is good? You've yet to meet a university professor. Holy shit. So yes, like, why are they selecting the educated lady versus the businessman? Which apparently is a convicted felon, and it's going to make everyone's lives awful unless you're rich. Right? I love the fact that the difference is between the rich and the poor. Like, no one talks about the politicians that keep gorging themselves on the taxpayer money. They're not rich. They're the good guys. But anyway, right, I can answer this question. Right, so, let's see. We have La Cocaína in the White House. We have the boot sex in the Senate. We have transgender boobies in front of the White House. We have one of the staff members that stole women's underwear. I mean, technically at the airport he stole the entire luggage, but people assume that's why he did it. Or they or she. Then we have the Afghanistan withdrawal. The fucking grocery bill. The fucking grocery bill. And they attempt to gaslight people that it's actually, no, it's not expensive. No, like, groceries have always been this way. How did they think they're going to pull it off is beyond my understanding and human comprehension. This is why I decided to stop going to the Archcast. Dev, listen to me, Dev. I understand that you're rich and you can afford so much gas to gaslight like there's never tomorrow. I get that. I respect that. But don't fucking gaslight people when it comes to the fucking grocery bill. You can gaslight people about anything else. You can gaslight them about the crime levels. You can gaslight them about employment. You can gaslight about anything you want except the fucking grocery bill. Because everyone does groceries. And you can't say, well, maybe it's your neighborhood, because everyone does groceries online. You can actually look at various websites. You can compare prices with what they used to be 4 years before. You cannot say that people are making the same grocery bills and they just happen to go on Twitter and they get radicalized and they think that the groceries are more expensive than they actually are. There is no way you can gaslight people or lie to people when it comes about the basic survival necessities. Gas prices up, electricity prices up, the groceries are up. This is something that you cannot gas. I don't even know why they tried. They could have done anything else. They could have said, oh, it's because of the war in Ukraine. Oh, it's because this or that. Oh, we're doing our best to fix it. They could have tried something like that. Instead, they were saying that, no, it's just your imagination. No, it's not happening. I don't even know why they gaslit people with the inflation. That is another thing. Like the erosion in trust in the mainstream media. The idea that you can tell people there's not going to be an inflation, and then you can tell people, okay, there is a little inflation, and then you can tell people, okay, there is a lot of inflation, but that's a good thing, and then you can say, well, okay, maybe it's not a good thing, but it's the private companies that do it. Like, I know that people have short-term memory, and the mainstream media can say one thing today and another thing tomorrow, and people completely forget. But that is so long you can pull this tactic before it gets nerfed. And it doesn't matter how many David Pac-Mans you have and how many Destinies, and they bring the charts and they bring the statistics, and they're so much educated than the random person. But at the end of the day, even Og the caveman can see the grocery bill. And even Og the caveman can see that the same stuff that he was buying last year is now more expensive. The main issue that the Democrat Party had was failure to communicate and treating the public like they're imbeciles. And then relying on experts, charts, and statistics in order to explain to the public that what they're seeing is not accurate with the science. And in that case, if what you're seeing is not accurate with the science, then maybe the people that are doing the science are completely incompetent and corrupt and shouldn't be the ones doing the science, and maybe replace them with someone better. What I would have done if I was part of the US government, the PR relations, I would be like, okay, well, if you want to cause inflation and you want to fuck the economy that bad, then at least blame it on COVID. You can say, well, we had to lock everything down in order to save grandma. Keep it consistent. You went with that, right? Like, that was the talking point. Fucking keep it. It doesn't matter if people don't like it. Just like, maintain the course, right? We had to save grandma, and in order to save grandma, we had to tell people to sit inside and stay safe. And while we did that, yeah, the economy took a hit, but that is like the medical bill. That is how much it costed to keep grandma safe. And after that, you can just say, well, you know, we didn't expect the stuff in Ukraine to happen, and that destabilizes logistics and supplies, and there's a conflict in the Middle East, and, you know, like, all of these are things outside of our control, and we're doing our best. If it wasn't for us, it would have been much worse. That's what you would have to say, right? Like, you keep it consistent. You maintain the same narrative. You don't fucking change it. You don't blame the private sector. You don't blame anything else. You're just keeping it in the same consistency. The Democrats failed to do that. And they treated people like they're stupid. Well, stupid people can still vote. I will probably do a couple more of segments where I highlight some of the meltdowns from other content creators, because there's a lot of them. There's just like way too much to go into a single video. And I'll see you guys in the comment section. Take care.